When the world grows quiet and the night settles around you, there exists a sacred moment. A moment where your words carry unimaginable power. The hours before sleep are not ordinary hours. They are the gateway to the invisible law that opens doors no man can shut. In that stillness, the conscious mind fades and the deeper, wiser part of you begins to listen. Every word you whisper, every thought you hold, begins to form reality in the unseen. You have within you an invisible power that never sleeps. It works tirelessly, shaping your circumstances to match the pictures you hold and the words you speak. Many go to bed carrying the weight of fear, worry, and failure, not realizing that they are instructing their subconscious to repeat those same patterns. But tonight, you can choose differently. You can plant new seeds. Seeds of peace, prosperity, and divine favor. Whisper words of power, not panic. Whisper, everything I desire is already moving toward me. Whisper, doors are opening that I cannot see. Whisper, my mind is calm, my path is clear, and my future is blessed. As you say these words, feel them. Don't just repeat them. Live them in your imagination. See yourself walking through open doors, standing in the light of new opportunities, receiving good news that shifts your entire life. The invisible law does not respond to doubt. It responds to belief. It listens to your inner conviction, to the emotional energy behind your words. If your heart burns with faith, if your words carry the vibration of certainty, that law will move mountains for you. The subconscious mind is like a vast, silent garden, always listening, always fertile, ready to receive the seeds you plant within it. The words you whisper before sleep are those seeds. In that quiet hour, when the conscious mind grows drowsy and its gates relax, your whispered thoughts and affirmations slip past its guard and sink deeply into the subconscious, which takes them as truth and begins to bring them forth as experience. This is why the last 5 minutes before you drift into sleep hold so much creative power. Whatever you impress upon the mind in those final moments begins to shape the pattern of your waking life. The subconscious never questions, never analyzes, never argues. It simply accepts the ideas you feed it and works to make them real. If you end your day murmuring words of worry, regret, or fear, those emotions will echo through your nights and rise again in your days. But if instead you whisper words of faith, gratitude, and quiet expectancy, the invisible law within you will respond by guiding you to opportunities, insights, and circumstances that match the tone of your inner speech. Many people underestimate this subtle nightly ritual because it feels too simple, too quiet to matter. Yet every great transformation begins in stillness. The subconscious mind operates like soil. What you plant grows, and what you neglect withers. Just as the farmer knows that seeds need time beneath the surface before they appear as harvest, you must trust that your nightly words are taking root in the unseen. Every whisper of peace, every gentle statement of success, every phrase that affirms abundance becomes a living vibration in the field of your mind. During sleep, when the body rests and the conscious mind withdraws, the subconscious continues its ceaseless work, rearranging patterns of thought, drawing people, ideas, and circumstances into harmony with your dominant mental impressions. You may not see results immediately, but that does not mean the law has failed. The invisible process is unfolding even when you cannot perceive it. The moment you speak words of faith at night, the creative forces of the subconscious begin to move, silently, like a tide turning beneath the surface. It may guide you to make a decision you had overlooked, bring a person into your path, or open an unexpected opportunity. You need only persist in planting the right seeds. Before you sleep, whisper words that declare what you wish to become rather than what you fear you are. Replace "I am struggling" with "I am guided to success." Replace "I am tired and lost" with "I am strengthened and renewed." Over time, your subconscious will accept these words as reality and express them through your actions, emotions, and environment. The law is impartial. It mirrors whatever you impress upon it. Your nightly whispers are not idle. They are instructions to the deepest part of your being. When you understand this truth and use it faithfully, you will see your life bend gently toward the direction of your whispered words. Faith is the silent energy that activates the invisible law and transforms words into living realities. Without faith, your affirmations are hollow echoes, but with faith, they become commands to the unseen power that governs your destiny. Faith is not mere belief, it is the deep, quiet knowing that what you desire already exists in the unseen and is now making its way to you. When you whisper words at night, your faith acts as the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between what is desired and what is realized. The moment you speak your intention with conviction, you set unseen forces in motion that begin aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to fulfill your spoken word. You may not see it immediately, but the law begins to respond instantly to the vibration of your faith. Faith does not depend on external evidence. It lives in the unseen realm of certainty, beyond reason and proof. When you whisper to yourself, "Everything I desire is now moving toward me," faith is what gives that statement life. It is the invisible current that turns a thought into a tangible experience. Most people speak words of hope mixed with doubt, and their results mirror that confusion. They ask for success while secretly fearing failure. They affirm health but dwell on symptoms. They desire love but expect rejection. The subconscious mind, ever obedient, accepts the strongest feeling behind the words. It is not the words alone that move it. It is the emotional energy of belief. When faith is pure, the law responds without resistance. When faith wavers, the law reflects that uncertainty. To awaken faith, one must learn to feel the truth of the desire as though it were already fulfilled. As you prepare for sleep, imagine the end result is real and let the feeling of accomplishment settle into your heart. Whisper words not as requests but as declarations of what already is. Say to yourself, "The power within me is bringing all good things to pass," and feel the calm assurance that it is so. That feeling is faith in motion. It is the same force that builds worlds, heals bodies, restores harmony, and opens doors that logic cannot explain. You need not understand how the law works, only that it does. Just as you do not see the roots growing beneath the soil, yet trust that the seed will sprout, so must you trust the unseen process of faith. Every night your faith either opens doors or keeps them closed. It is the inner light that guides the law into action. If you go to sleep with doubt, your mind remains divided, and the invisible power stands still, awaiting a clear command. But when you go to sleep with unwavering trust that life is unfolding in your favor, you release the law to work freely and effortlessly. Faith dissolves barriers, clears pathways, and connects you with opportunities beyond your imagination. Whisper with certainty, feel it as truth, and rest in the knowing that what you have claimed in faith will soon appear in form, for faith is the silent language the universe always understands. Imagination is the workshop of creation, the place where invisible ideas are molded into visible form. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every success story began as an image in the mind of someone who dared to believe in what they could not yet see. When you lie down at night and begin to whisper words of intention, your imagination is the tool that gives life to those words. The subconscious mind communicates through images and feelings rather than logic or language, so the pictures you hold in your imagination are far more powerful than any spoken phrase alone. To imagine is to command the creative law of life, for whatever image you consistently nurture before sleep becomes a living pattern impressed upon your subconscious, which then begins to express it through circumstances, actions, and people drawn into your life. As you drift between wakefulness and sleep, the conscious mind relaxes and imagination becomes the open door through which ideas pass into the deeper mind. This is why what you picture before sleep holds such authority. If you visualize lack, fear, or loss, those conditions are impressed upon the subconscious as instructions to be fulfilled. But if you deliberately form images of abundance, health, harmony, and success, you are impressing the mind with patterns of prosperity that the invisible law will later manifest in your reality. The subconscious cannot distinguish between real and imagined experiences. It only knows what you vividly feel to be true. When imagination is infused with emotion, it becomes creation in motion. To use imagination effectively, you must learn to feel the reality of your desire as though it were already accomplished. Do not simply see the picture. Enter it, live in it, breathe within it. If you desire success, imagine yourself already successful, see the environment around you, feel the confidence within you, hear the words of congratulation from others, sense the joy of fulfillment. When these feelings become genuine, even for a few moments before sleep, your subconscious receives them as fact. During the night, it begins to reorganize your inner world to match that impression, guiding your actions, sharpening your intuition, and opening doors you could never have forced open through effort alone. Many dismiss imagination as fantasy, yet every physical achievement began in imagination first. The invisible precedes the visible as surely as night precedes dawn. When you use imagination deliberately, you cooperate with the very law that governs creation itself. You cease to be a passive observer of life and become its conscious architect. The unseen power within you cannot build what you do not imagine. Therefore, when you whisper your nightly affirmations, let imagination paint the pictures of their fulfillment. Feel the joy of answered prayer, the peace of completion, the excitement of new beginnings. In that sacred state between waking and sleep, these images fuse with your subconscious mind, and the law begins to translate them into form. The clearer and more emotionally charged your imagination, the faster those invisible images become visible realities. The invisible law that governs creation responds not to the number of times you repeat words, but to the emotional tone that accompanies them. Repetition without feeling is empty, but one word spoken with conviction and emotion can move mountains within your subconscious. The power lies not in the frequency of the affirmation, but in the faith and emotion that give it life. When you whisper your words at night, it is the feeling you attach to them that determines how deeply they are impressed upon your subconscious. The subconscious does not respond to idle phrases. It responds to emotional conviction. It is moved by belief, by certainty, by the inner vibration that says, "This is true for me." If your words carry no feeling, they pass like shadows across the surface of your mind. But if they are spoken with heartfelt emotion, they sink deep into the invisible realm and begin to take form in the outer world. This is why emotion is the language of creation. When you feel the truth of your words as you say them, your subconscious receives those words as a command. If you whisper, "I am healed," but feel fear and doubt, the subconscious hears the fear more clearly than the words. Yet if you whisper, "I am healed," with a sense of gratitude and calm assurance, the subconscious accepts that feeling as fact and begins to orchestrate healing in ways that may seem miraculous. Emotion gives color, sound, and shape to thought. It is the magnetic current that draws conditions to you. Without emotion, thought is like a seed left unwatered. It has potential but cannot grow. To activate this invisible law, you must learn to generate the feeling that matches your desired outcome. If you wish for abundance, feel abundant as you whisper your words. If you wish for peace, feel peace before you sleep. Let your imagination create a scene that stirs real emotion within you. The law does not care whether that emotion arises from a physical event or a mental picture. It simply acts on what it feels. This is the reason gratitude and faith are so powerful. When you feel gratitude, you signal to your subconscious that what you desire already exists. When you feel faith, you announce that you are certain of its manifestation. These emotions create a vibrational match between your inner world and the reality you wish to experience. Some people speak affirmations hundreds of times, growing frustrated when nothing changes. They forget that the subconscious is not moved by numbers but by intensity. One whisper of genuine belief before sleep can be more potent than hours of mechanical repetition. The goal is not to convince yourself through words, but to evoke a feeling so real that the subconscious must act upon it. Feel the end as though it were already here, and your words will become living truth. When emotion and thought unite, creation begins. The invisible law responds instantly to the energy behind your whisper, turning your inner feeling into the outer experience of your life. Every night, as you prepare to rest, you are shaping your destiny with the words you whisper and the thoughts you allow to linger in your mind. You are not merely speaking words, you are programming your inner being, forming the pattern of who you are becoming. The truth is simple yet profound. You become what you whisper. Every sentence that leaves your lips in the quiet of the night becomes an instruction to your subconscious, a message to the invisible intelligence within you that says, "This is who I am." Over time, these nightly whispers build an inner identity that directs every action, decision, and experience you encounter. If you speak of fear, limitation, and failure, those conditions will subtly manifest, for your subconscious will accept them as your chosen identity. But if you speak of strength, abundance, and peace, you begin to transform from within, and life mirrors that transformation back to you. Your subconscious mind does not argue or question. It believes and creates. It shapes your world according to the ideas you impress upon it. Each night when you whisper positive words charged with feeling and conviction, you are reprogramming your subconscious to reflect the highest version of yourself. When you say, "I am successful," you are not pretending, you are instructing your inner world to align with success. When you whisper, "I am loved," you are tuning your vibration to receive love. The subconscious acts upon the most dominant impressions it receives, and your nightly whispers are among the most powerful because they are planted when the conscious mind grows still and the subconscious becomes most receptive. This is why what you say before sleep carries such immense creative force. Through consistent nightly practice, your whispered affirmations begin to reshape your inner conversation during the day. The negative self-talk that once held you back starts to fade because the subconscious no longer supports it. Instead, it begins to project the new identity you have built in silence. You start to think, act, and feel like the person you have been affirming yourself to be. Opportunities that once seemed unreachable begin to appear naturally, not because they suddenly exist, but because you have changed the lens through which you perceive life. The outer world adjusts to the vibration of your inner world. This invisible transformation happens quietly, almost imperceptibly, until one day you realize you are living what you once whispered. The power of this process lies in its consistency and sincerity. Even if you do not fully believe your words at first, persistence will make them real. Each repetition strengthens the new identity, each whisper deepens the impression, and each night brings you closer to becoming what you affirm. Whisper words of love, peace, abundance, and strength, and your subconscious will weave them into the fabric of your life. You are constantly becoming what you speak, for every whispered word is a seed, every feeling a drop of nourishment, and every night an opportunity to create the person you were always meant to be. There is a divine rhythm that governs the unseen forces of life, and it moves most powerfully in stillness. The invisible law that opens doors cannot be forced by struggle or agitation. It operates best when the mind is calm, receptive, and free from resistance. When you quiet your thoughts before sleep, you enter a sacred state where the conscious mind loosens its grip, and the deeper intelligence within you begins to take over. In that moment of surrender, when your breathing slows and your body relaxes, you create the perfect atmosphere for the unseen power to work through you. The mind that is still is the mind that allows. It stops questioning how or when things will happen and simply trusts that they are happening. In this quiet trust, the invisible law finds its path to flow freely, arranging the details of your life with precision beyond your understanding. Every night, countless people go to bed carrying the noise of the day. The arguments, the worries, the disappointments. Their minds are cluttered with unfinished thoughts and anxious predictions. They fall asleep not in peace but in resistance, unknowingly blocking the creative flow that could be transforming their lives. Yet, when you deliberately quiet your mind and enter sleep with calm expectancy, you give permission to the invisible forces of life to act on your behalf. The stillness before sleep is not inactivity, it is a powerful form of surrender, an act of faith that says, I trust the process of life. I trust the law that governs all things. In this calm trust, your subconscious becomes open to new impressions, new ideas, and divine guidance that cannot enter a restless mind. Stillness is the secret chamber where creation begins. In silence, your inner world becomes like a clear mirror reflecting divine order. When the surface of the water is disturbed, the reflection is broken and unclear, but when it is still, it perfectly mirrors the image above it. So too, when your mind is still, it perfectly reflects the wisdom of the higher self, allowing the invisible law to work without interference. In this state, solutions rise naturally, insights emerge effortlessly, and events begin to align themselves with your whispered intentions. The peace you feel before sleep is not weakness. It is power under control. It is the quiet strength that moves mountains without effort. When you whisper your nightly affirmations, do so from this calm, unhurried space. Let your words flow softly, without strain, like ripples on a still pond. Feel the truth of your words rather than forcing them. Trust that the unseen intelligence within you has heard, and that even now it is arranging every detail for your highest good. The doors that seem closed will open, not through striving, but through surrender. The answers you seek will come, not through anxiety, but through inner quiet. For in stillness, the invisible law goes to work, weaving the fabric of your desires into reality with perfect timing and effortless grace.